up, Dokkanners? Welcome back to Junrami for another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Today's video, I have brought my buddy Hydros is here, and he is here to explain what the heck is going on with this whole safety net thing, because you know me, I'm stupid. So I don't know what's going on with this. It's been a couple of days, information has developed, and we now know what's going on. So I thought I'd bring in the buddy Hydros to talk about what's going on and hopefully simplify things so that morons like me can understand it. So Hydros, first of all, thank you so much for being here, man. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing alright, man. I'm doing alright. Alright, so here's the deal, yo. I don't even know what accent I'm doing. Can you explain what is going on with SafetyNet? I've got this Reddit post by T6 here, and I figured I'll keep this as sort of supplemental information for smarter people to read, but I don't know what's going on. So can you talk to me like I'm 5 years old and explain what this means?
Well, what's going on here, little one? No. All right, so what's going on with SafetyNet? SafetyNet is, like, in simplest terms, as I think I've put it, multiple times this week.
Yeah. By the way, Hydros has had to put out this fire everywhere, so I really appreciate him coming out here, but he's had to do this like 20 times.
Yeah, it's literally the end-all, be-all of mods. SafetyNet allows them to detect whether you're using something. This is on Android, by the way. This isn't iOS related. iOS actually has their own sort of safety net, quote unquote. I think it's called like device check or something like that. I'm not sure what it's actually called. I can't remember off the top of my head, but iOS has their own thing. The safety net is particular to Android only. So if you're Android, you might want to pay attention. So what it does is allows them to detect whether you're using something like a custom APK, which, play like UNIDOKKAN, Elemental Evil, and then probably other places across the internet have all their modded APKs that give you like high attack damage, God mode, all that sort of stuff, right? So it allows them to detect if you're using a modified version of the APK, which allows them to also detect whether you modify it to where you remove like SSL pinning, which also affects like the proxies. So with the SSL pinning, it actually prevents us from stuff like packet capturing to where we can actually see what's being sent to and from the game as it goes out. Because of that, it also includes new, I want to say, encryptions to where it'll go towards the Google servers, then it goes from Google servers to Dokkan and back and forth into there, back into the client. That basically allows you into the game and to do everything. So if like something doesn't match up when it's being sent to the Google servers, it'll basically be sent to Dokkan. It's like, hey, this doesn't match. And then it can be sent back whether, hey, let them in, don't let them in, whatever. Okay. And that's how they can pretty much track what's all kind of going on.
So basically what this means is SafetyNet is a program, or it's a thing, that detects if somebody's using non-actual Dokkan stuff. Right?
Right. So it's more like you have to use the official APK or you're screwed.
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
And this thing is currently happening on Android because Android is primarily where the whole UNIDOKKAN scene is, and all of the mods and emulators or whatever that people are using to do whatever showcases they can or just play the game in that capacity, correct?
Right. Like I said, iOS is their own world of things. I know there are some mods that exist for iOS, and I know like change direction and stuff has existed for iOS. Specifically, Trident, the PC app of Trident that I actually made before I made Trident Mobile, was able to actually work with both Android and iOS, but that's not even modding any APKs or in terms of iOS and IPA. So I didn't have to modify anything except for when Dokkan put out, I can't remember what update it was. I think it was like 4.10. I think it's been so long now because after some sort of update, they made it to where proxies had a bit of a issue to actually connect, so it had to actually start using a modified APK, which wasn't really a problem then. But now that SafetyNet is here, I can't even do a modded APK for that. We can't do modded APKs for UNIDOKKAN. I mean, we could. There are ways around it, as T6 did say in his post that he, probably could do, but in terms of safety of the end user, he's not going to, and as well as the complexity of the installation for UNIDOKKAN, he's not gonna. He doesn't want anyone to have to go through root. The point of UNIDOKKAN was a simple, straightforward installation to where, user doesn't have to install root or jailbreak or anything like that to actually use it.
So we've gone over the what, and now I was going to ask you why. It seems pretty obvious why they're doing this. They're doing this because they want you to play the core game They don't want you to be doing all of this fancy extra stuff that wasn't meant to be a part of the game. They want you to play the simple original game and utilize all the assets and features in the original game. Is there anything more to it than that, or is that pretty much what sums it up with this whole situation?
I mean, yeah, as a developer, obviously they're going to want you to play the game as they've made it. But in the past, I don't think they've necessarily cared much about mods. You know, like how UNIDOKKAN, you can do custom cards, all that kind of stuff, custom events, all that kind of good stuff. I don't really think they cared necessarily about that. I mean, they probably did care to an extent, but they didn't care enough to really do anything. But once the bot initially, the original Dokkan bot, was not actually free. It used to actually be a paid bot. Then the code got out, code got released, stuff like that. So once the code was out, then Carrie developed his own, and as I've seen people, and I'm sure you've seen people complain about how the friends list, especially if you're a lower level, it's filled with SR units, and the bot is probably because of that. It actually is because of the bot. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It is because of the bot.
Oh,
because
I see.
People, excuse me, are re-rolling accounts. They're farming accounts that, you know, farming accounts, because when the bot allows you to farm literally everything in the game, with it, like, just as you start the account, just farm everything and have like 2,000 stones ready to go, right? And then people are actually taking those freshly farmed accounts and selling them. Personally, in my opinion, I am against people selling a fresh farmed account, because, I mean, obviously the tool is free and it exists for a reason, so people could do that themselves without having to pay for it. But I'm not particularly against, like, if someone has, like, you know, something like, you know, like the Truth's account, for example. I'm not against, like, him wanting to sell his account because, you know, it's stacked, he's put time and all that stuff into it. It's not like a fresh, brand new day one account, right? I don't care about that. It's the day one accounts I care about, that most of us cared about, that I don't agree with people selling. It's, you know, and then Carrie started locking down his bot to where it could start, you know, fighting against that kind of thing. But eventually, you know, it still happened. And I think the bot is one of the major impacts that probably led to this more than anything.
So would you say
and
that
it
this
probably was just a long time coming?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, was this an ongoing kind of battle that eventually came to a head, like at this point, that it was just a long time coming, that, you know, they noticed people were making a profit off of virtually, I mean, I guess basically an exploit, right? That wasn't intended to be exploited, and they basically they ultimately said enough is enough, and now they've locked all that stuff down. So does this also mean that we will not be able to get any more data download type information when it comes to new releases or new, you know, new Dokkan units and all that stuff?
Well, what SafetyNet did is not only it detects modded APKs, it added SSL pinning, which prevents a lot of proxying and stuff like that. But as SafetyNet, again, it detects everything, right? It detects what device you're on, and I don't think it necessarily detects where you are, but it detects like what device you're on, if it's a legitimate device, if it has root, which emulators have root by default. Well, there is an option in an emulator you can actually uncheck root, but it still can be funky, especially because it is an emulator, and I'm sure they are able to see that it's probably an emulator. I mean, if a lot of people are playing on Galaxy S10s from the same kind of thing made from Nox, I'm sure, you know, it's pretty apparent to them at that point. But because emulators have root, and the way Dokkan works, at least for an Android anyway, I don't know about iOS because I don't have an iOS device, so I can't comment on that. But for Android, all the asset files are actually stored in the root of an Android device, and by default, you can't actually access that without rooting your device, which an emulator can do without doing anything to it. It comes like that automatically. So it's a way to protect their assets, yeah. As of right now, nothing is really being done. Like, they could literally just flip a switch on their end and catch many people just like that. If they really wanted to, and just cause a mass ban wave later. They could collect data over time, and again, like I said, mass ban wave, they could just ban individuals as they see fit. But in terms of the root, you know, the assets are stored there. That's maybe why they want to keep people out of it, because, you know, data downloads and stuff like that probably, kill the hype, obviously, because, had they do live streams for units, like during anniversaries, and if they do the data download early, well, they're literally shooting themselves in the foot by doing that. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to data download before the live stream, because I think they should do it after or during it.
Yeah, a little off topic, but it kind of seemed like they were going to do that, and then randomly, right before this, the Boo Tanks and the Vegeta one, they just randomly dropped the data for those two units, and then everyone just, took it and ran with it. There was literally no point to watching that Dokkan Now.
Right, yeah, literally there's no point to watching that stream whatsoever at that point. Because by the time that stream was up, all the early showcases were going up, so it really didn't make a difference at that rate. I mean, obviously, like events and stuff like that they would show isn't technically usually in the data download. I mean, you can see like missions and stuff like that sometimes that they'll put in the database, but like, if they're talking about an event, that's, you can still watch the live stream for that. So not everything is, I mean, obviously no one cares about the events. We want to see the units. Let's be real. No one
You're right.
Stuff like the asset downloader that a lot of us use actually still works. We can still actually get the assets. If they drop a data download, we'll be able to get it. And I mean, if somehow prevent the asset downloader, well, I mean, we could still technically throw it in an emulator and potentially just download the data and then extract it and all that stuff. It would take longer, but I mean, I used to do that, so it's not anything new for me to do that. I used to do it before the data downloader actually existed. But I mean, like I said, they could flip a switch to where none of that works anymore. That's what SafetyNet does. It's in the palm of their hands. So
this is planned to roll out on JP, soon, or has it already happened on JP?
JP's already got it.
JP's already got it.
So at the 4.12 update.
So for JP, it's gone. So basically, half of all life in Dokkan is gone, right? In terms of the UNIDOKKAN world, right?
In terms of UNIDOKKAN, and most likely a lot of early showcases are probably gone.
They have Thanos'd the JP side of UNIDOKKAN. So this will eventually be dropping on global when we get that same update, whenever that is, which could potentially be in the next month or two. Maybe even sooner, since this is a pretty important update.
They've actually done they did an in-game notice already when the 4.12 update was actually coming. It's coming in November.
Oh, it is coming in November. Okay.
Yep, they did an announcement in-game that said it's coming in November for 4.12.0, and a lot of us thought, hey, maybe they actually won't implement it, but the news itself actually talks about updating your Google Play services to like 13.3 or whatever the update is for it, whatever the latest one they want you to use of the Google Play services. So because they want you to update the Google Play services, that's a pretty strong indication, if not a 99.9% sure chance that is saying, hey, SafetyNet's coming, basically. Because there would be no reason to update the Google Play services unless like they needed to, or the SafetyNet. That's literally it.
So if we know that this is coming on global, for those people who do play on a modded Dokkan APK, hopefully I use that sentence right, on UNIDOKKAN or something like that, what is their next course of action? Is there some like exit strategy where they can like safely transfer their data onto an actual game? Or is there anything that they could do at this point, or is it more like enjoy the time while you can, because soon you're going to be obliterated?
No, everyone's accounts should be fine. I'm not guaranteeing that, but relatively everyone should be fine pre 4.12, right? So as long as you're still on whatever the 4.11.3 or whatever global's on right now, you're fine. The SafetyNet's not actually there. They have to physically update the game via, App Store to actually implement SafetyNet. So as long as that's not there, you're fine. Okay. The old stuff is still in effect currently, so you can mod away, do whatever you want, go crazy while you can. And then when 4.12 does come, they did take away transfer codes. If anyone, I'm sure everyone is at least linked to Facebook, Google, whatever. As long as you're linked to something, if you're not, link your account now so you don't have to later. And what Thieving 6 did was actually make an APK update for UNIDOKKAN users for JP that only allowed you to link. Nothing else. You can't do anything else with the APK. He mentioned it in his Reddit post that it's strictly only to link your account So you can transfer to the official version, and that's it.
Okay.
You can't actually log into the game, can't do any of that, but you can only link your account, and that's what he made it for. So you can safely link, get out, and all that stuff from the UNIDOKKAN APK. So for global users, link your accounts now. If you're already linked, you're good to go. When 4.12 comes, just download the Play Store version, transfer in, you'll be fine.
And to be clear,
Because
Hydros is here helping out by clarifying my questions. He is not to be held responsible for anything that happens. He is just here to help clarify everything that's going on with this whole thing. So don't hold anything against Hydros. He is not held liable for any of that stuff. He is just trying to help out. So I want that to be clear. Don't be like, oh, Hydros told me to do this. No, he's just trying to help out by answering these questions.
I've not seen it anywhere. But when I made Trident, because there were paid services that did what Trident did, right?
Yeah.
People were blaming me because they were saying like this would actually happen to Dokkan. Took them 2 years, almost 2 years since Trident's been made, but it took them that long. Again, I don't think Trident Ghosts and all that stuff, that was way too soon for any of this to actually be a factor into why SafetyNet was implemented. Sure, Trident could have been a factor, UNIDOKKAN could have been a factor. I'm pretty sure the bot was a major factor in it. I think that's one of the main reasons, like I said, not to like shade Carrie, love the dude, but a lot of us did know that it did do that to the friends list and stuff, and I'm sure they were fully aware of that. But
it's very ironic that this is their way to potentially correct the friend system issues instead of actually it
doesn't correct
fixing.
it whatsoever. All those accounts are still going to be there. They're just dead at this rate.
Oh, like, for real? So those
really
friend units will still be around.
Unless they ban or delete the accounts, yeah, they'll still be there. They'll be there as long as those accounts exist.
That'd be kind of funny.
So I don't know. I mean, they really didn't fix anything. They just stopped the problem, but they didn't remove any of the problem. Like they didn't. I mean, there's no better friends list coming. Try to mirror friend. No more of that, unfortunately. I know a lot of people are bummed that you can't use English translation on JP, which sucks.
Yeah, that honestly,
really
looking back, that was the main thing that was stopping me from playing JP. And I was very close to thinking about starting JP, but then I didn't. But that was a huge update because I was actually really tempted.
There's probably some ways that the English translation could come back. Like, I'll throw an example out there, like JP Grand Cross. I know that there's a database sort of injector APK that you install as a third-party app, and it literally just hot swaps it, so it gives you an English one. So maybe potentially that could be a thing, just to hot swap the actual database for Dokkan, because the database handles a lot of what the game does and stuff. Or what the game says, rather. There's some other files too, but mainly the database.
That actually leads me to my next question. So we know the what, we know the why, we know the when. The next question was going to be, is there any scenario where something resembling all of this, UNIDOKKAN, or whatever bots or whatever, is there going to be anything like this moving forward in some capacity, some limited capacity, moving forward, be it on iOS or on Android in some form or fashion? Is there anything like this that's going to be coming up in the future, or is this completely the end of Dokkan mods?
Pretty much the end of Dokkan mods. Like Thieving6 said in his Reddit post, JP's done. There are some ways that he did mention that he could probably do something, but at the end of the day, he's not willing to risk the users, which Thieving6, one of the best persons I've met in the modding community for Dokkan, most knowledgeable, everything like that. So he's been good to UNIDOKKAN, been good to me and all that stuff, helping me with Trident. So I trust his judgment on everything that he says and stuff like that with SafetyNet, with continuing. So if he's not willing to continue, that's a sign that, hey, it's not worth the risk to continue probably anything else. There are other mods out there that have updated to 4.12. I will say I recommend people not playing those or using those. I don't care if they can't guarantee your safety. I know that they cannot guarantee your safety. SafetyNet there's no guarantees, there's no anything when SafetyNet is involved. So, with that, if you're using other mods, I recommend not, because it may not be now, but if you keep using them, they could just be collecting data on users to then shove out into a ban wave later. So if you're using them, if you use them like once or whatever, I'd stop. Just my opinion. This is my honest opinion. I'm not saying, oh, my word's law or anything like that. I'm just giving my opinion. I wouldn't personally do it and risk my account. And from what Thieving Six said as well in his post, they probably are looking at modders as well. They are probably looking at them, but they're looking at probably modders who aren't spending and who are generally maybe spending here and there, right? So if you're a modder but you're spending, they're probably going to be like, we'll ignore it, right? Because you're spending money. You're giving them money at that point, so they're probably like, I don't care about you. But if you're a modder and you've never spent a dime on the game, they're probably like, well, we're going to eat you out.
Jeez. Okay. Well, I guess that's pretty much it. I mean, look, now there have been instances where I have said, you know what, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should give in and start doing the UNIDOKKAN scene. Honestly, my laziness kind of kept me from doing it, just because I didn't feel like learning how to set all that stuff up, and it looks like I'm not going to need to. So that fear of missing out is quickly dissipating. So lucky me. Yay.
I mean, it's like, I loved making the mods like instant win and stuff. Like, that was cool. But UNIDOKKAN did a lot more than that. I know people, probably see the mods and it's like, oh, I can easily get my medals now. I can easily farm and do all that, right? So, people see that with mods. But when they see stuff that UNIDOKKAN could do, like, they got people like Warden doing custom unit showcases and stuff like that, which are insane to see. Not only are they doing custom units, but they're giving units custom art, custom effects, all that sort of stuff.
That actually makes me sad, because actually I very much enjoyed watching that. Seeing the creativity that emerged from this opportunity. It wasn't just a fix for a problem in Dokkan. It actually opened up some doors for some other things that people could contribute to the Dokkan community. And unfortunately, that stuff's going to be gone, right?
Yeah, people say that, oh, they're banning modders, they're getting rid of them, Dokkan's gonna die. I'll tell you this, people who mod, people on social media, all of that combined, not even like 5 to 10% of the entire community. Like, everything you see online, that's not even close to the entire Dokkan community, right? So, it's a small niche in comparison to the entirety of Dokkan. Like, Dokkan's a huge and massive game. It's getting rid of modders isn't going to hurt them that much.
Well, I think if anything, now that the fact that this is all coming to an end, all eyes are going to be on Dokkan and the devs to really push the game forward, because to be honest, I guess some of this stuff kind of alleviated the need for more Dokkan, I don't know, content drops. I don't know. Some of the stuff that Dokkan needed, the modding community kind of contributed, right? So now that everything's kind of resetting and it's going back to form just in the game, all eyes are going to be on the devs to actually bring out more content or bring out more interesting or intuitive features, right?
Yeah, like a lot of us in UNIDOKKAN made patches to where it was a quality of life thing. Like, we had better friends from Liquid, Plasmid, and then there was like the jukebox. Someone made a jukebox. I think was it Baloots? I can't remember. Can't remember who made the jukebox right off the top of my head.
That's awesome.
It literally was a jukebox where you could choose from any background music or BGM in the game and just literally play it.
That's really cool.
It was a jukebox. Literally just select from any of them.
That's really
Wallpaper cool. Engine mod, you can choose, like, instead of just wallpapers that they give us, you could select wallpapers, like custom ones that people made. You could select the ones that cards have, like LRs, and set them as your wallpaper. All that stuff. Like, a lot of us did a lot. Like, I did Trident. A lot of, like, then we had the wallpaper engine. Then we had, like I said, the jukebox, the English translation mod. I think there was a French translation mod. I don't know if there's another. Was there an I can't remember if there was an Espanol translation mod. I can't remember. Maybe there might have been. I don't know. I didn't look at it. If I did, I only played the English, so But yeah. And then, the summon simulator, in-game summon simulator. If you didn't want to spend your stones, the summon simulator, you didn't keep the units, like you never kept.
Well, yeah, no. It was more to just get your fix.
Instant ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your fix. And then Plasmid, shout out to him again. did a not a mod, I won't say a mod, it's more like a patch. It's a patch to where it hid your stones so you couldn't summon.
Whoa.
So if you were not like if you couldn't control your habits of like single summons, like, yo, I got 5, let me single real quick, like I do, that could help a lot of people. Like, it just literally hid your stones and you couldn't summon.
I would have actually loved that. Quick story, last Christmas, my cousin took my phone and used up all my stones. And I had like 1,100 stones. Oh. It was on the KFC banner. Yeah.
The KFC banner.
I didn't get a single KFC.
Finger licking good.
Oh, no, it was not, man.
Oh, I bet not. The LR banners are rough.
Yeah. But, all right. Well, you know what? That is a good stopping point. I've actually, honestly, you're not going to believe this. I actually learned something from this. You have probably explained this to me like 4 times. But I really appreciate you taking the time to dumb this down for me and to explain once again what is going on with all of this, and I really appreciate that, man. Thank you, Hydros.
I mean, I don't mind explaining. I mean, UNIDOKKAN was more to other people's, and they did a lot of other stuff before I ever joined into UNIDOKKAN. I joined in, made Trident, got Trident working on UNIDOKKAN, but, you know, I just want to say huge thanks to Thieving6 who made UNIDOKKAN, and without him, none of it would have been possible to even make any of this, and to have this experience of enjoying the things that we've been able to do.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna link the subreddit or the Reddit thread that Thieving6 set up. I'm gonna link that in the description, as well as Hydros' channel, because Hydros, for me personally, has been a huge help because he's basically been explaining everything to me. Also, he helped me out with a lot of thumbnails for a while. If you saw some of those fire thumbnails a couple months back, that was all Hydros. So yeah, huge thank you to Hydros, huge thank you to Thieving6 for all the good work that they did for the Dokkan community. But sadly, all good things must come to an end, and on Global, this will be coming to an end next month. So, you know, say goodbye to all of your modded asset loved ones or whatever the hell it is, and, you know, get back to regular Dokkaning. So, thank you once again, Hydros.
Maybe one day stuff will come back. Maybe one day stuff will come back. Nothing is planned, obviously. As of right now, JP's gone. Enjoy Global while you can. But when Global gets it, that's it.
And once again, Hydros is clarifying with these questions. He is not to be held responsible for anything. So if you guys want to do some crazy stuff with whatever mods out there, do it at your own risk, but you have been advised not to do it. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much once again, Hydros. Stay tuned, everybody, and always be sure to Dokkan responsibly, or UNIDOKKAN responsibly for the last time. Goodbye.